From the land of the five rivers.
2 years ago, when we came to Los Angeles, I really believed that the greatness of the Raiders would be in its future.
We back.
Yes, sir.
What's going on, man? We couldn't wait to do this show, man. It's been a minute. Lots happened since I got Telesco's press conference, Jim Harbaugh to the Chargers, man. We're gonna get into all that, man. We appreciate everybody coming through. Yeah, man. Is this considered a late night edition? Yeah, I mean at this point, it's a late night.
I mean, look, we went live at 12 midnight, bro. So this is
hey man, we
early bird special right here, man.
Hey, we be changing up every time, every time. But but as usual, man, we appreciate everybody coming through. If you haven't already, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't subscribed, hit that notification bell. We are going live on both our channels, so if you are at any of our channels, go ahead and hit that like button, support, so we can keep coming back and doing this content, man. Hey, look, let's get into the chat, man.
Where's the thumbs at, man?
Where
the thumbs at, bro? You didn't hit him with it, man.
The thumbs, hey, man. Hey, yeah. Just in case y'all don't know what the like button look like, it got a thumb. As you can see, the screen is filling up with. That's how it looked like right there. You see? Yeah, there you go. Right. There you go. Just hit it real quick, just for us. But we appreciate everybody. We appreciate everybody coming through. Let me get into the chat real quick. Let's get to the people. Let's get to the nation. And my guy, as usual, Raider Resistance, making my rare appearance. Salute. Hey, appreciate you coming through as always. Guy always coming through and showing some love. We got Super Omnicron. He says, I was mad as F as this Super Bowl matchup. I didn't even want to watch the highlights.
Man.
yeah, we gonna talk about that, man. If y'all don't see the thumbnail, I mean, y'all don't see the title, man.
Oh man,
we gonna talk about it, man. And and this has to be like the ugliest non-Raiders matchup. If you're a Raider fan, obviously, if it ain't your team, but at least when you're watching the Super Bowl, you kind of pick the team that you kind of want to win, like you want to see win, you know.
Yeah,
but this is a Super Bowl matchup. I don't want the Niners to win, and I don't want the Chiefs to win,
bro.
But we'll get into that in a second, man. We got Desert Raider in the building, man. He's coming through. He says I ain't watching that matchup.
Yo, bro. Yeah, me either, man. Me either. I'm boycotting the Super Bowl this year, man.
Alfredo is in the building. He says, salute nation. Appreciate you coming through, Alfredo, as usual. SoCal Sal says, salute Pharaoh and Severe. Man, my guy coming through. Appreciate you coming through. And then Carlos Enfuego says, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but you know, it is what it is, man. Pharaoh Raiders, I'm hoping for. You say you spell Pharaoh wrong, and even though that's how you spell Pharaoh's name, I get it. You didn't spell it wrong, but he says I'm hoping for a great offensive coordinator and drafting a great mobile QB to challenge Aiden O'Connell. Hey, man, I'm not mad at that, man. I'm not mad at that strategy right there. Get a great offensive coordinator, and you know, hey, put it together with a great, talented QB, probably in the first round because that's where you usually find them. But yeah, man, we'll get into all that stuff, man. We're gonna get into the OC hire that's most likely gonna be announced pretty soon. I mean, we'll talk about all that good stuff. But yeah, let's just get into it, man. Like, hey, man, there's a lot to talk about, and one of the things that we need to talk about is the NFC Championship game happened. NFC and AFC Championship game happened this weekend. And what did you think of the? We all know that the 49ers and Chiefs won, but what did you think of the games that you checked out on Sunday?
So going into the games, I was hoping for a Lions versus Ravens matchup. And I would have settled for a Lions 49ers. I would have settled for a Chiefs Lions. Or Ravens 49ers. I would have settled for Chiefs Lions. I would have settled for either one of those. Either one of those I'd have been okay. I'd have been good with. We got the absolute worst possible outcome. And I would say this, man. Watching those games, especially the 49ers, and especially in the KC and Baltimore game, that is going to feed a lot of speculation about the NFL being rigged, man. There was some stuff that happened in that game where it's like it just feeds into that narrative where, you know, people they have pre-selected teams that they want, or pre-selected players that they want to put on these big stages, and you know, and then the auxiliary stuff you got with the Taylor Swift and all that outside stuff as well. That's just going to add more fuel to the fire where they want her there, because that's going to bring more eyes to the Super Bowl. Because there's some stuff that happened during that game, man, where it's like there was an obvious pass interference in the end zone that went uncalled. And there was some other stuff, man, that they weren't calling holding at all, man. Like Jawan Taylor was holding literally every single play, wasn't being called at all. It was just some stuff that was going on, man, where it's like it was real questionable, man, real questionable. And then the Lions, man, the Lions. You know, the Lions did what the Green Bay Packers did. You know, the Lions had an opportunity to win that game, and it was you know, Dan Campbell went Bruce Arians, man, no risky, no biscuit on some of those fourth down decisions, and much like Matt LaFleur, you know, going for it on fourth down early in the game and not kicking that field goal, how it came back to bite the Packers. You know, some of Dan Campbell's decisions came back to bite the Lions. But that being said, that's what they've been doing all year. That's why I couldn't fault them. That's how they've been playing the game all year. They were going through that. I mean, they're going for those type of things all throughout the year. So for them to do in that situation, that's your team identity. That's your team identity. So I couldn't be mad at them. But you know, in hindsight, it's 2020. But you know, I bet, you know, some of those situations he had hope that he can get some of those decisions back. One of those decisions, he actually had a good ball man, I will say this: the guy that was gonna have a lot of fingers pointed at him is my guy that came over from Josh Reynolds. Josh Reynolds dropped a fourth down conversion pass that he should have had. He
A
dropped
few
another
receivers
pass.
dropped. A few receivers dropped.
Yeah, a few receivers, but I remember it was like that fourth and I want to say it was
Yeah.
a fourth and 2. He had him and he dropped it, and then there was another play later on that would have been like a pretty nice gain, and he dropped it as well. So it's it is, man. It is what it
That
is,
second
man.
that second half was the definition of momentum swing. God, it felt like everything was going the Niners' way. Like,
Man.
and like you said, Dan Campbell didn't help himself by being too aggressive, but that's how they got there. That's pretty much their whole identity was being really aggressive. He believes in his players. The players, they're all for Dan Campbell. But it is what it is, man. Hey, look, at the end of the day, they lost the game. The 49ers won it. Hey, I going back to the Ravens game, do you think this is like a stain in Lamar Jackson's career when you look back, like, man, he did lose against Mahomes, but Mahomes might go down as probably the best quarterback of this generation. Like,
I don't think there is a doubt that Mahomes is going to go down as the best quarterback in this generation. He's on track to go down as the best quarterback of all time. He's been a starter for 6 years. He's gone to 4 Super Bowls. He's won 2 of them, with the potential to win a third already. So it's like, the only people that have kept him from winning the Super Bowl is the refs in New England, that first game, with that faulty pass interference call, and then the Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense in that last Super Bowl, or technically his offensive line in the Super Bowl they lost to Tampa Bay, and then Joe Burrow beat him that one time in the playoffs. Other than that, man, he's running the league right now, man. So I was at the game with Big Mike too, man, and shout out to my guy Big Mike. Man, we were at the game. If you haven't subbed him, make sure y'all sub, man. But I see my guys in the chat, man. But yeah, man, we were disgusted. We did have a celebrity in the house. We had Doug Peterson was in the building. That's a little bit of an insider.
A little inside.
My guy, little insider. My guy Doug Peterson was at the bar watching the game with us, man. But but we were just I was there talking big stuff. I was talking big stuff to everybody that was there, man. And it's bad because it was a Lions fan, man, that was like sitting right across from me. And Lions went up 14-0. And he had that look on his face. And I made a comment. He was there with like his like, I don't know if it's his wife or his girl and their kid. And I made a comment. I was like, man, I know what you're feeling right now. Because as a Raider fan, we get that same feeling where, no matter how many points we get up, we're not going to get comfortable until that clock hits 0. Because we know that anything bad that can happen to our team would probably happen. And then at the end of the game, man, for them to lose the way they did, man, I felt for my guy, man. I felt for him.
Look, and we're going to get into the chat, man. Thrash says he honestly haven't watched the Super Bowl in years. And that leads us to the next topic here is what's worse, 49ers Super Bowl or Chiefs Super Bowl?
So this is going to be controversial.
They had one job to do. The Ravens had one job to do. The Lions had one job to do, and they failed. Man, I understand, hey, the Raiders are in the playoffs, but like, come on, man. Like, the Lions had that chance. They were up 21-7, and would you say better coaching probably could have won the game? They had
it was some coaching there because they were just controlling they were like running the ball down their throats, man. What happened was, and it was a little bit of coaching, because what happened was they went for it on the 4th down. They didn't get it, and they were up, but that would have put them up 17 if they would have kicked the field goal where they were at. And they didn't get it, and then San Fran went down and scored, and then I want to say that like the next drive they fumbled, and then San Francisco recovered the fumble in their own territory and scored, and then I was like, after that it was kind of like all downhill from there, man. That they can never really get their bearings going. The run game wasn't as effective anymore. It's like San Fran got juiced, man, and to Lamar. I think, man, that this will be a little bit of a stain on his legacy. For anybody that watched the game, it's Lamar looked hesitant. He wasn't pulling the trigger, either passing or running. There were several opportunities where like I was yelling at the screen, literally, bro, like run the effing ball. Like, bro, there's lane. You're Lamar Jackson, right? You're not Aiden O'Connell. Run the ball, bro. There were lanes there for him to run and get big chunk plays. It seems like, especially in the first half and early in the third quarter, he refused to do it. And then when he finally started doing it toward the end of the third quarter, then the passing game opened it up for him. And then, big play Zay, he started getting off, and then, of course, he had a very costly penalty after a big play with unsportsmanlike conduct, even though Travis Kelce had been doing similar stuff all game. In that pivotal situation after a big play, they kind of take the wind out of the Baltimore sails with the unsportsmanlike conduct penalty. And then, 2 or 3 plays later, he's trying to dive across the end zone, man. And L'Jarius Sneed makes a hell of a play, punches the ball out, and the Chiefs recover for a touchback, man. So, but man, honestly, out of the two teams, man, just because the Chiefs has already been winning Super Bowls, I'd rather see the Chiefs win it, man. Just because I hate the 49ers with a passion, man. I hate them more than the Cowboys and 49ers are the two teams I hate.
Man,
the most.
you said the Chiefs. All right, the way I look at it is this: I hate both teams. Growing up in the Bay Area, obviously it was more of a fan rivalry with the 49ers and the Raiders. The players really didn't really care like that. They just fed into the crowd being really into it, I'm sure. But that being said, I think. But the Chiefs.
Yeah, no, it's tough.
It's tough. The Chiefs. We play them twice a year.
Yeah,
they're easily right now our most hated division rival. Like, I hate the Chiefs. I
would say so.
If they win a Super Bowl, they're not gonna let this go. They're gonna be talking about, like, we own Vegas. We beat y'all. We won our championship in y'all city. You know what I mean? They're gonna be talking about that for years. I think the players are gonna say it. The organization is gonna feel it. They're never gonna let it go. I'm sure they're gonna use everything they can to broadcast that. But with the 49ers, though, I think amongst fans they're gonna bring it up, but I don't think it's gonna be as big as a Chiefs win in Vegas.
No, man, I think that because the 49ers, I think the Chiefs fans. I mean, from my experience, right? That my experience, that the Chiefs fans, they're not as obnoxious as 49er fans, bro. 49er fans are some of the most obnoxious fans in all sports. And the thing about the Chiefs winning is that we have an opportunity to play the Chiefs, even though it's in the regular season. We play them twice a year. Mm-hmm. We can get some, a little bit of revenge back on them in the regular season. We play the 49ers once every 3-4 years. And so, yeah. It's, and depending on, what year it is, it may not be in the Legion. It may be, up in San Fran or Santa Clara or whatever. So, I think if the Chiefs have been winning Super Bowls already, like the 49ers have been winning a Super Bowl for a long time. So if they win one again and it's in our stadium, that just makes it so much worse, man. That makes it so bad. And then it's like, Cleve Farrell's winning the Super Bowl with the team. He left, man. It's like that's
left and found success somewhere else.
Man,
I mean, that's kind of been happening a little bit too much.
And I like Cleve Farrell, but it's like, damn, dog,
Yeah, it's not really, but for me, it's not about Cleve Farrell. I just hate the Niners.
I hate the Niners.
I just hate the Niners. And it was it's just that you grew up just that Bay Area rivalry, the team across the Bay. It just was natural just not to, like, I don't know. But I'll say this, though. If I had to choose right now who to win, I wouldn't want the Chiefs to win. I do not want the Chiefs to win, bro.
I can see that,
the Chiefs, division rival, they're not going to let this go, man. They are not, twice a year. We got to play this team twice a year. The 49ers, we only play them once every 4 years?
Exactly.
But let's ask the nation. What like before the show started, I put out a poll asking what's worse, the 49ers or the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. So let's see what the results look like here.
Yeah.
So it looks like 49ers 25%, Chiefs 75%.
You got this old ass picture of Jeff Garcia looking like Jeff Garcia. Bro, that's
man.
not a bro. You're skewing the polls, man. This Jeff Garcia looking all decrepit.
Hey, I put Taylor Swift and Kelsey. Like who's more
bro,
hated?
Exactly. You can't, man. That's you rigged this poll, man.
But Jeff Garcia was damn. I remember Jeff Garcia.
And he was a Raider. He tried to bring Jamarcus Russell along, bro, and he tried to salvage Jamarcus Russell's career.
He tried.
He tried. Like I remember when Jamarcus Russell was trying to make a comeback to the league. It was Jeff Garcia who was training him, man. So it was. You got Jeff Garcia looking all stoic and humble, and he old.
It's hella funny. Like Jeff Garcia and Jamarcus Russell, they're like complete opposite. Like one doesn't have a lot of talent. Like Jeff Garcia was like pure, like just
moxie.
Yeah, like it wasn't like he had a great arm. He probably had one of the worst arms in the NFL. Like him and Dilfer were fighting for probably one of the weakest arms in the league.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. Hey, man, I didn't like the 49ers, man, growing up. But hey, do y'all think I really skewed this by putting Taylor Swift and Kelsey and Jeff Garcia? Who would I put for the Niners? I mean, I thought this was,
nobody hates Jeff Garcia. It's impossible to hate Jeff Garcia, bro. You can't.
It's impossible.
Who hates Jeff Garcia?
Hey, ask Terrell Owens though. Let's ask Terrell Owens. I'm gonna play the sound bite. I'm playing.
Terrell Owens didn't like a single quarterback he had. So outside of who's his first quarterback? Was his first quarterback Jeff Garcia? Tony Romo.
That's my quarterback, man.
He had them shades on and them crocodile tears. He was trying to. Yeah, that was the worst acting job I've ever seen, man. That was like an NBA flop, man.
Yeah, but this is pretty much the nation is spoken. They don't want the Chiefs to win. I think, and I agree with it. I hate the Niners. I don't want them to win, and I'm not saying that I want them to win, but the Chiefs right now they got the edge. We play them twice a year. They're the most hated team. Like if you had to name one team, I mean, Mike Shanahan. Broncos is close. Mike Shanahan coach Broncos. If y'all don't know,
or what's my guy?
Schottenheimer
Chargers.
Oh yeah.
Bro. Oh my God, because Sean Merriman had a big mouth. LaDainian Thompson was talking. Phillip Rivers talked. He might have talked more than anybody on the field.
That's true.
Phillip Rivers was a talker. I'm like, bro, ain't you a Mormon or something like that, bro? You can't be talking about this trash out here. Like you the Church of Latter-day Saints, bro. You gotta, so. But what makes it worse is that, like, if the Chiefs beat us, we have an opportunity next year to shut them up with a win, right? Salute to my guy SoCal. But we had an opportunity to shut them up with a win, right? If the Niners win the next time we play the Niners, they gonna talk until we play them. At least we can get some get back against the Chiefs.
That's a good point. You know what? For me, I'm going with the Chiefs. The Chiefs. I hate the Niners, and I have friends who are Niner fans, so I'm gonna have to deal with that. But this is how much I hate the Chiefs. I'm willing to deal with that. But I'm just willing to deal. I'm willing to deal with Niner fans talking over the Chiefs winning, because it's just not the fans of the Chiefs. Yeah. It's also the players. They're not going to let that go. They're not going to let that go. That whole organization is not going to let that go. They're going to create like NFL films. Oh, the Chiefs when they went into the Raiders' house. They're gonna do they're gonna blow it up. It's just like, nah, I'm not trying to hear that. I'm not trying to see that.
Oh, okay. I'll pose this question to you. If the Chiefs were to win, I think that greatly increases the chances that Andy Reid retires. I think he'll walk out in a blaze of glory and he could retire. Now, if I were told you that if the Chiefs win and Andy Reid retires, will that change your answer?
No. It wouldn't change my answer. That's
Okay.
I'm,
I
I'm
thought I had you. I thought I had you.
Nah, it wouldn't. It wouldn't. But I get what you're saying. You're saying that it would. But who would be the replacement?
I don't know, man. You know, I
There's
mean,
very there.
everybody thought Matt Nagy was so terrible because of Justin Fields a bum. And, you know what he did with Justin Fields looked like Matt Nagy about to get another Super Bowl ring. So
Well, the main ingredient is Andy Reid. Like no
yeah,
matter what,
you know.
Andy Reid is the guy running the show. Like that's his offense, and I'm sure he's still a play caller. Is Nagy the play call? Like Nagy's not calling plays, is he?
I don't know. I don't know because I don't know. I don't know. I think he had more trust in Nagy than he did in Bieniemy, but I don't know if Nagy is calling the plays or not.
Man, Daniel Kim, one of my moms, man, I appreciate you coming through. He says, it looked like the Lions were in a daze and couldn't snap out of it. They just needed to put a few plays together, get back into the swing, and couldn't get it done. Yeah, man. Hey, look, they got hit in the mouth. They got hit in the mouth on the road, young team, so to speak. I mean, they got some veterans on there, but like I just felt like that was their first time in the playoffs in how long? And then it didn't help that Dan Campbell made some in a close game like that.
Man.
Those type of decisions. Like think about it. The coach for the Bucks was under fire because they were talking about like, oh, he should have called a timeout.
Yeah.
And it's just those types of plays. You know, the football is a game of inches, man. Like, and meaning that even the close calls as a coach are going to get scrutinized, as well as the quarterback. We all know, we know who takes the blame when teams lose, and Campbell has some mistakes, but I think he'll improve from it. Do you think he's going to stay aggressive, or you think he's going to try to be? You think he'll stay aggressive?
I think he'll stay aggressive, man. I think he'll stay aggressive. I mean, he's in a situation where, like I said, man, if Josh Reynolds doesn't drop that 4th and 2 play, like it completely changes the complexity of the game right there, man. And so I think he's gonna stay aggressive. I think you don't want to overcorrect because sometimes that's what people have a tendency to do. Whereas instead of maybe they're over aggressive and then they dial it down a little bit. A lot of times what they'll do is they'll overcorrect and they'll be like super conservative. And then, and it has the opposite effect that they want it to have. So I think he'll maybe dial it down a little bit, but he's going to stay aggressive. And even in that game, there were some situations where he potentially could have gone for it, and he kicked a field goal. I think there was one play, I want to say right before the half. He would have opportunity in the red zone to go for it, and he ended up not going for it. He ended up taking the points and kicking the field goal. So, yeah, man, Reynolds and Campbell, bro. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Reynolds and Campbell cost them the game, and it's tough. It wasn't just the coach; like the players, they choked.
Nah.
They choked too as well. Like, and I would say the receivers, man, because hey, the passes were there. I mean, Goff. Hey, and that's another thing, Goff. Where do you put him in the NFL as far as quarterbacks? Like, because you know what? Like, this is the second team where they're making a deep playoff run.
Mm-hmm.
Like, do you put him somewhere? Is he still top 15 for you? Is he in the top 10?
I want to say, just off the top of my head, he's like 8 to 12 range. And I want to say this too, man. Like Raider Nation, stop comparing Aiden O'Connell to Jared Goff. Don't do that ever again, bro. I saw Jared Goff make some throws that if Aiden O'Connell dreamed of making those throws, he better wake up and apologize because he has nowhere near the arm talent that Goff has. It's not even like close. So please stop making that comparison because Jared Goff has like an elite arm. He has a rocket.
You think he has an elite arm?
Oh, Goff has an elite arm, bro. He
was the number one pick in the draft.
Yes, Goff has a hose, man. I watched Goff at Cal. I remember Goff should have won, Pac-10, Pac-12 Freshman Player of the Year, Offensive Player of the Year. That's the year that Miles Jack won Pac-12 Offensive and Defensive Player of the Year for playing running back. Miles Jack took it for him, but Goff been a dog since he was at Cal, man. Goff has a rocket. Like he made a throw. I forgot who it was. I want to say it was the Amon-Ra St. Brown. It was like between two defenders. It was a sick throw. It was like sick throw. Like very like there's maybe 5 quarterbacks in the NFL that can make that throw, man. And Goff is one of them.
Yeah, he's balling, man, and it doesn't hurt that he has an elite offensive play caller in Ben Johnson, and most likely he's going to be a head coach next year. So it helps that he's playing in that offense. So Goff has kind of been blessed to actually play with some elite offensive-minded coach, Sean McVay, and now Ben Johnson most likely is going to be a head coach somewhere. So that helps as well. I wasn't the big Goff guy. I thought I felt like he could have played better with the Rams. I felt like even though they went to the Super Bowl with them, I just felt like it was a classic case of having so much talent around him. I didn't feel like he was the guy that could win it, but I think he's playing pretty well for the Lions. I don't know what's going to happen in a situation where the offensive coordinator is going to leave. Are they going to give their QB coach a raise? I don't know. Like, is he gonna be the OC? That's a tough part, and that's a tough part of. And we'll talk about that too a little bit. I think that's a good topic, something to talk about too as well. Is if you go after for the Raiders, because it's a Raiders show, if you go after one of these young offensive-minded coaches, there's a good chance they're gonna leave the following year. And if you draft a young quarterback, do you think it's a good idea to change offensive coordinators after 1 year? So you kind of have to, play a little bit of chess. You got to play a little chess. You know what I mean? Have someone in there that's going to be there for at least a few years, and then they'll be able to build off that. A young quarterback can build off that stability. But let's get into the chat, man. Look, Daniel Kim is back again with another question. He says, anyone know if there's a separate home locker room for the UNLV that's not the Raiders locker room? Yeah, they have the UNLV have their own locker room. The Raiders locker room is they don't share their locker room with any other team. So, and then it says here, don't want nobody else in the dish. You know what? That's interesting. That's interesting because I see where you're going with this. Man, the Chiefs or 49ers could be. Can they be in the Raiders locker room?
I doubt that. I doubt that they'll give them access to the Raiders locker room. Because first of all, usually visiting teams have like substantially like less impressive locker rooms than the home teams. Like their locker rooms are like the bare minimum. So that's already like. So I doubt they'll let anybody in the Raiders locker room. They'll probably use like the UNLV locker room. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure.
I don't know, man.
Mark Davis.
I did the stadium tour, bro, and I think
Antonio Pierce will put the locks on the door himself. He'll stand outside the door wearing some black Air Forces and a Raiders Letterman jacket. Like,
man,
they
can't be stepping on that Raiders logo, man.
Bro,
I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that on any of the players' social media, but I'm sure they're gonna try to figure out a way to do something because you got two hated Raider teams, man. But Mark Carbone says, why is it taking so long for us to hire the OC? You think we'll wait for Kubiak? He better be better than anyone we've interviewed so far. The Niners offensive system. See, that's the thing too. With the Niners losing or winning, it kind of pushes out their ability to interview him. I think if they would have lost, they would have the ability to interview him. I don't know if the Raiders have to wait a few days or a week or so. Like there's a timing issue, and I think the Raiders are going to make a decision on the OC soon, from reports, and we'll talk about that in a second.
It does pushes out. I mean, they have so that week between the Super Bowl and the conference championship game is the opportunity, and when they then have the opportunity to hire him. So they put a slip in for him already, I believe. So they're requesting it. So we'll see.
Well, let's get into your favorite part of the show, man. You know what I mean? Your favorite part of the show, man, is notable quotables.
Yes, sir.
And if you want to give the people an intro to this first clip.
So Tom Telesco, he did a one-on-one interview with some of the Raiders media, And basically right now, a lot of people are worried about anytime there's a regime change, is the new people going to come in and completely tear things down? And Tom Telesco, he pretty much addresses that right here.
I think the team can win. That's the biggest thing. I don't see this as a situation where we have to tear this down and go baseball style, where it's going to take a couple of years to build it back up again. I don't see that. We're going to have to add some things, no doubt. We got to get better, but I think we can compete. Right? I think the team can win. That's the biggest thing. I don't see this as a situation where we have to tear this down and go baseball style, where it's going to take a couple of years to build it back up again. I don't see that. We're going to have to add some things, no doubt. We got to get better, but I think we can compete. Right? I think that.
So that's Tom Telesco. He had a sit-down interview with Raiders media, and pretty much saying that he's here to win.
Yes.
This is not a rebuild; it's a reload.
Yes.
I don't know if that's a good thing that we keep doing that.
keep hearing that.
We eventually got to rebuild. You know what I mean? Like it's okay. Sometimes you gotta set a foundation before you can build a consistent winner. But we've constantly tried to, like reload and try to win, and that.
Yes.
I don't know how to feel about that. You can see why Telesco got the job. You can see what he sold Mark Davis on.
Yeah.
We can win now. We can win now, and I'm sure he believes that too as well. Like I'm not saying that that's not going to be the case, but it's just after a while we keep hearing the same stuff with some of these new regimes. The regime comes in and like, oh, we're gonna win Super Bowls and we're gonna do this, we're gonna do this. I'm like, all right, we'll see.
Man.
Wait and see game. But what did you think? Let's actually get into. We actually even talk about Telesco. We talked about him being hired, but a lot's happened since the last time we went live. And Telesco did have a press conference with Antonio Pierce.
Yes.
What were your first thoughts on Telesco and also the clip that just played?
I mean, I think Telesco. I mean, I was impressed. I think there was a little bit of that corporate, that corporate speak there. He answered some questions very lawyerly, and I didn't bring this up on the last show, but one thing I knocked Telesco for is that he went to John Carroll University, and if anybody knows who else went to John Carroll University, Josh McDaniels. And who else went to John Carroll University?
That's the wrong
Dave
answer,
Ziegler. Dave Ziegler. And those are also two guys that came in saying, they weren't going to rebuild. They were going to reload or retool or whatever. So, but, hey, I want to say Nick Caserio, he went to John Carroll as well. And he's doing a fantastic job with the Texans right now. Yeah. So, so there is some light at the, I think Bill Polian's son goes there too. So, that there is a light at the end of the tunnel. But, yeah, man, I will say there's one thing he said during that press conference or what he didn't say. He was very non-committal when talking about, he was asked a question specifically about Aiden O'Connell, and he was extremely non-committal. And that kind of raised my antennas a little bit. But overall, man, I was impressed. He didn't come in there trying to blow smoke. They asked him about the Raiders roster. He said, honestly, I haven't really had a chance to look at their roster fully. He talked about how it's different looking at a roster from the outside looking in than it is from the inside evaluating. And so he said he really has had opportunity to really look at it and evaluate it fully, which I wouldn't have expected him to, because that the interview process was a fairly quick one. So, but overall, man, I think he did a good job, man. And AP was AP, man. He did a hell of a job too.
Yeah, there were some generic answers though. Not gonna lie. Yeah. There were some generic answers like, oh, we're gonna build a team with speed, like and then obviously Antonio Pierce, he kind of fed into it by saying, oh, we're gonna play action, we're gonna throw it deep, We all know the Raiders history. Yeah, we've heard it. We've heard it in the past. Like, yeah, okay, we're gonna build a team of speed, and there is some truth to that because there is like I could pull it up here in a second, but there is a chart pretty much breaking down the slowest receivers in the NFL.
Yeah.
But And the Raiders have the slowest receivers in the NFL on average, I guess.
Exactly.
But yeah, man, I thought
people wonder why we don't throw the ball deep. Like, why don't we throw the ball deep? Like, bro, who? Like, Trey Tucker didn't come on till late in the year, so who was gonna throw the ball deep to? Like, he didn't have nobody.
Yeah. And it's a wait and see for me too with Antonio Pierce and Tom Telesco, because they don't know each other. Like they literally said he met him when he interviewed him. He was part of the interview process. And Mark Davis said to, I think, one of the beat reporters, I think it might have been Paul Gutierrez, I think he said that, he had, or it might have been Vic Tafe, one of the guys, but he had, Antonio Pierce sit down on the final interviews with each candidate that got 2 interviews. So I think Ed Dodds got 2 interviews, Champ Kelly got 2 interviews, and obviously Tom Telesco got 2 interviews, and Antonio Pierce was a part of all of those interviews. So I thought that was interesting. I wonder how much input that he had, and who. I'm sure he probably vouched for Champ Kelly.
You never know. Maybe he was like, bro, look, Champ Kelly ain't it. Champ Kelly ain't it. You never know.
Well, but I heard he shot himself in the foot. He might have shot himself in the foot. Yeah, Champ Kelly might have shot himself in the foot, as far as like, because they went into the interview process. I guess one of the things that they probably brought up was what was their plan to address the QB position? Yeah. And Champ's guy was kind of implying that Aiden might go into the next year as a starter. I mean, if that's true, then like a guy like Mark Davis, like, nah, we not doing that, man. Like, come on, man. Yeah, bro. Aiden O'Connell cannot be the guy. Like, he can't be the guy, but he's good. He's a good guy. A good backup QB, but we cannot put all our eggs in one basket with Aiden O'Connell. Yes. You see all these young QBs, man. All these guys can move, and I know that's like been said multiple times. Oh, you need a quarterback to move. You don't necessarily need a quarterback that be Lamar Jackson, but at least be able to get like 5, 6, 7 yards, chunk, make the defense pay, like be a threat.
Even Brock Purdy did it
at all.
Yeah, even at the game against the Lions, Brock Purdy did it like multiple times. He would escape a sack, and he would scramble. And one of the things I want to say is that, and this kind of hits on the point of Champ Kelly and Tom Telesco, and what you said about AP, is that anytime you're doing any kind of talking, any kind of presentation, whether it's an interview, a presentation, anything like that, the rule number 1 is know your audience, right? Mm-hmm. So AP and Tom Telesco, they know their audience, man. They know what our Raider fans, we're nostalgic. We love those. Hey, throw it deep, and that's what we know. We love that stuff, right? That's what we grew up on, and that's when those are the glory days when we were our greatest. So they're gonna pay fan service, to Raider Nation by throwing on those little blurbs. And apparently Champ Kelly didn't know his audience. When you're talking to Mark Davis, you come in there like, yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and roll with this, the statue at quarterback. That's what we're gonna do. And Mark Davis probably looking like, bro, what? Like, what?
No. Like, what? I think Champ Kelly probably had a good plan. I don't think it was a bad plan. I think it was more like his attitude was like, hey, we need to build this team right. We need to address the trenches. We need to like build this team correctly. And a guy like Mark Davis, he wants to win now. Yeah. He doesn't want us here like, let's wait till 2028. You know what I mean? Until he doesn't want to hear that. But the positive is, I think from what it sounds like Champ Kelly's going to stay in the building. Yeah. He was at the press conference along with Patrick Graham. Patrick Graham, man, he was there. So hopefully that means that he's going to stay. I think I seen somewhere that there's some reports that said that I don't know if it's 100% true that he's going to be back, but I'm not sure if he's one of the finalists for that Seattle head coaching job. They haven't, he obviously I think he got a second interview with them. So until they announce the head coaching job, I think that's probably, if he doesn't get it, then I think he's coming back. Because he was a finalist for the Seattle job. But there's a second notable quotable. You want to give the people an intro to that clip?
Yeah, man. So basically, the new regime, or some of the old regime, and Tom Telesco, he's beginning his tenure, and there's some certain things that they want to take off the list, and he pretty much has a priority list of things he wants to take care of first, and he speaks to that right here.
In terms of the next week, 2 weeks, 30 days for you, Antonio, what's on that to-do list? What's number one item that we're attacking right now?
Yeah, number one is the coaching staff. That's the biggest thing. We have to get that set so we know exactly the direction we're going to go in on both sides of the ball. So once that gets set, then we'll start getting more into player evaluation. And part of being a GM is time management and juggling a lot of balls at one time. So I'll be doing a lot of things like parallel tracks and watching more tape and film of the current team here.
Ooh, that was a big one too. That was like, God, he did not hesitate. But
little known fact about that interview, if you guys hear the music, it was actually filmed on the set of a porno. So that's why you hear that music. So you hear that music in the back. The Raiders were actually renting out a Legion at the time. That's why that's why he's talking about juggling like that.
Man, Rosetown native says, "What's going on, fam? Worst situation to be in, but I'd rather have the Niners." It's not the worst situation to be in. Let's we being realistic, but yeah, as a fan of football, fan of the Raiders, yeah, this is I can't even. I can't even watch Super Bowl because I can't even. Yeah. I mean, I might watch it just like to see, just being a football fan, but like, damn, two teams that I don't like is playing. It is what it is, man. But he says, I'd rather have the Niners take it than our division rival and top us on the Super Bowl wins. Salute from Santa Rosa, California, man. Appreciate you coming through, man. He says, Raiders. I got you, bro. But yeah, man. Hey, so going back to that clip, Tom Telesco pretty much talks about how he's going to attack the offseason right now. Hey, it's pretty common sense. It's the obvious. They're gonna have to attack that coaching staff. Once he gets the coaching staff, he'll be able to understand what they're looking for in a player, so he'll be able to find that for them. So that's what I got from that clip. And right now, the biggest hire that they have to do for the coaching staff is the OC, Raiders OC, man. And let's get into the Raiders OC. It's getting close. They're probably gonna announce it this week. I think Ian Rappaport or someone linked. I think they tagged Rappaport and said that he announced, or he said that the Raiders are probably gonna hire someone earlier in the week. Which, hey man, this is gonna be big, man. This is we know what this defense is gonna look like under Pierce and hopefully Patrick Graham.
Yes.
If he doesn't get that head coaching job with Seattle, then I think he's coming back as a defensive coordinator. Cool. Defensive side is kind of solidified as far as coaching staff. They need to add some pieces there. We understand that. But now the OC hire is huge, bro. And from what we know the candidates are Alex Van Pelt, former OC for the Browns, Luke Getsy, former OC for the Bears, Cliff Kingsbury, Clint Kubiak, and a guy that we wanted, but he ended up going to the Falcons, Zach Robinson.
Yeah.
He didn't even, they requested an interview, and he didn't even come and get that interview. He was like, as soon as he found out Raheem Morris got a head coaching job, that was the first place he went to. But
yeah.
But yes, it sounds like it's down to 4, maybe 5 mystery candidate. Some people are implying maybe, it's a former head coach. I hope it's not Adam Gase. I just don't want to see that. Frank Wright seems like a candidate possibly, but there haven't been any reported interviews or anything like that, so we don't know. But we do know that Alex Van Pelt interviewed, Cliff Kingsbury interviewed, Clint Kubiak, and Luke Getsy also interviewed. So, and they're all play callers. They all have experience as play calling. So experience is key.
Yeah.
What do you think of the OC search so far?
I mean, I think when we last spoke, I want to say, when we spoke offline a little bit, we kind of were kind of talking about what the timeline would look like. And I think we kind of both came to the same conclusion that we didn't think it would happen this previous week. And if it didn't happen this previous week, it would happen sometime early this week. After the
Yeah.
championship games, they let the dust settle a little bit. So they don't want it to like that news to collide too much into Super Bowl week. And then also you got all the college all-star games that are going on right now, the Senior Bowl, the East-West Shrine game, all that stuff's happening right now. So you want to have an offensive philosophy in place and a guy in place, where you can like properly evaluate these players. Because I'm sure Tom Telesco, he has his opinions on these players, but he also has to get input from his coaches, and right now he doesn't have a coach. So I think it's important to do that. We've known all along. I've been saying it for months. Cliff Kingsbury is a guy I've had my eye on. I think he's the best blend of having head coaching experience, having quarterback coaching experience, having had successful quarterbacks in Baker Mayfield, Patrick Mahomes, now Caleb Williams, and he's a guy that he's a play caller, a creative offense that likes to attack downfield. And he's not a guy that's going to leave after a year or two. I think he had a unsuccessful tenure as a head coach, so I think we'll be able to keep him for at least 2 or 3 years before he's offered another head coaching job, unless he does something crazy with our offense where we're like the number one offense in the league and we're putting up like 30 some points a game. If something like that happens, I can see him getting looks. But if we're just a good offense, I don't see any teams coming to beat his door down for a job. So.
I'll say this: if that rookie QB looks good under him, and he's balling out, good offense, I think a team could possibly give him opportunity. But I hear what you're saying. It usually takes. There's not a lot of examples of Frank Wright. Like Frank Wright, exactly. If we all know that he was the head coach of the Colts, gets fired, and then the year right after he gets hired by the Panthers. You don't really see that too much. Even the Raiders hiring a GM, Tom Telesco, He was a former GM of the Chargers this year, and he got fired, and the Raiders hired him. You don't see that too often. And GMs, from what if you look into it, they don't really get hired the second time around. There's not a lot of, there's not a lot of GMs where they get hired the second time around. But we'll see how it goes with Tom Telesco. But yeah, man, I think experience is definitely a big part of the Raiders' search for the OC, and especially play calling experience, which I'm not mad at too as well, because and head coach, and I wouldn't be mad at getting a Frank Wright. It's still kind of hesitant because we know his success rate as a head coach is terrible. But hey, not every head coach or every coordinator should be a head coach. That might be what it is with Frank Wright. And if we hire a coach like that with that type of background, you get a guy with head coaching experience. He's going to be there for a while.
Yes. Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's going to be he's going to be spending all his time, working on that quarterback, that young QB that we eventually going to draft. But that being said, man, look, man, let's get back into the chat. Daniel Kim, what? This can't be true. He says hit the likes and subscribe to our brothers. 53 in the room, only 23 likes.
Oh no! No!
Come on, man. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't subscribed, hit that notification bell. Come on, and this might be from a little bit earlier, but we're trying to catch up to the chat. But yeah, man, if you haven't hit that like button, and I'll give you a sneak preview on how the like button looks like. It looks like a thumb. It's a thumb like this. You see it on the screen.
Make it rain those likes, man. Make it rain those likes.
Come on, man. Hey, man, hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't subscribed, hit that notification bell. We're going live on both our channels, so make sure to subscribe to both, like both videos if you can. But yeah, man. Getting back into it. Let me show some of the. Well, I thought this was funny, man. When
I know
when I seen.
It's one guy we didn't bring up. One guy we didn't bring up is my guy Thad Lewis. He's a extremely dark horse candidate, but he's a QB coach, I want to say, for the Buccaneers right now. Mm-hmm. And he was previously their assistant wide receivers coach. And Buccaneers have one of the best wide receiver corps in the league. and he's been their quarterback coach, and he's done some very good things with Baker Mayfield. So he's a dark horse candidate. I don't think he'll get the job, but he's a guy that we did bring in for an interview.
From the Bucks.
Yeah, their QB coach.
Yeah, and he's kind of like in that Zach Robinson. They might be intrigued by him just because of his potential, but
Yes.
but if you look at most of the candidates, you could tell like they really want experience in that room.
Yeah, facts.
It seems like, but yeah, man, you see Daniel Kim posting Severe Raiders channel. So if y'all are watching me on my channel, head over to his channel and subscribe. Hit that subscribe, hit that like button. This is from earlier. Thrash says, "Laugh out loud. The picture definitely skewed it. It did it for me earlier."
I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you, you can't be out there putting like you got Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce.
Nah, man. Hey,
Bro.
I thought Jeff Garcia, like, hey, man, I thought that was, ugly picture of a former 49er quarterback, so I thought, like, hey, you know what? It is what it is, man. I don't even know what to put then. If it wasn't Josh, what would you put? If you had to put a picture for the 49ers.
Man, I don't know. I'm trying to think of some hated 49ers, man. Like,
maybe Nick Bosa.
Maybe Nick Bosa, probably.
Like
Nick Bosa
a funny look of.
Yeah, Nick Bosa's kind of obnoxious, man. I really don't know, man. It's not. I just don't like the. I mean, I don't like Brock. I don't like the Niners because they're fans. I don't like Brock Purdy either. I just don't know why. I just don't like Brock Purdy as a player. I just don't like him. So it's hard, man. It's very hard, man. It's very hard. But that Jeff Garcia looking all old, man. Like that definitely wasn't a good look, man.
Yeah, and we got AJ Simpson. He said, "I live in the Bay, so the Niners winning in our stadium is way worse to me. I might have to throw hands out here." Man, bro. AJ, I'm with you, bro. I'm with you, but I'm looking at it from this perspective. That we play the Chiefs twice a year, man. We play them twice a year. They're not gonna let this go. From the players, the fans, and the organization is not gonna forget this. They're not gonna forget. They're gonna make this part of their whole, like, our hated division line Raiders. But then we did get one at them by going to their house and winning the Super Bowl. Come on, man.
Look, put it like this, right? Look, if the 49ers win, the narrative will be we ran the Raiders out of the Bay Area, followed them to their new home in Las Vegas, and took over their stadium and won the Super Bowl there. That's going to be the narrative for if the Niners win. And we won't have any, and we don't got no give, but we don't play them often.
Yeah.
That's gonna be the watch. And
it's a lose-lose. It's a lose-lose. It's one of those like, it is what it is. Like it's
the best case scenario is that like one of the teams win, and then like we figure out like the game was fixed somehow, and like the game is just marred by scandal, so nobody can look at it as a legitimate game, or aliens come in and abduct all the players on the field and they can't play anymore. Those are the two best case scenarios right there. But either way, man, it's a bad day for Raiders fans, man.
Daniel Kim says Kubiak can be interviewed over the next 2 weeks. If he is, bring him in as soon as possible. The one thing about Kubiak, he has play caller experience. He's the passing game coordinator for the 49ers, I believe. And he has play calling experience because I think he was an offensive coordinator for the Vikings back in 2021. Yeah. So, hey, that's another guy, one of them young up-and-coming guys, and there's kind of a risk with him too. Like, if he balls out for the Raiders, and the thing is, the offense was so bad this year. Like, us going to like above next year, if we're like average or above average. Yeah. It's gonna look amazing for him. That someone's gonna offer him like, because like offensive-minded coaches, they get head coaching jobs
quick,
so easy, quick, bro.
But then you gotta look at who will be on the hot seat though, because you got young guys like Ben Johnson. Well, I don't even know what jobs were left, but Ben Johnson's still out there, Bobby Slowick's still out there. The guys that aren't really getting looks this year round will get looks in the future. So the new guy would have to pass up a few people.
Right. And Hard Dog 22 says, I think Mark got it right this time. No more buddy GM head coach.
Yeah.
No, hey, I agree with, and I've said this like so many times in the past. I said I agree with the structure. I like the winning teams have the structure. There's going to be a guy at GM head coach. Obviously, the owner is going to be the owner, but there has to be some type of like, and hopefully Mark does get a guy where he's going to be overseeing the GM and the coach and kind of being that advisor. They haven't announced or talked about anything about it yet, but he's talked about it in an interview where he said he's going to look to have a football mind or another guy in there to basically oversee the GM and the head coach. So, hey, I'm not mad at that. It's just, hey, look, it's just another example of Mark Davis kind of like, you know what, I'm going to pick my guy at head coach and pick my guy at GM. Like, and we've seen time and time again, like he's not getting it right for whatever reason. And it's crazy too. Even if like, let's say if Antonio Pierce, let's say if he wasn't the guy, right? If in another universe, if he wasn't the guy, he lost he lost some games. He didn't have the same, momentum going into the offseason. I can't see the Raiders going with like a young head coach with Mark Davis as the owner. Like he wants to get the big name. He wants to get the guy that's been there. Like look at his response. Look at his hire with Tom Telesco. He went with experience. I understand that with the rookie head coach, you're probably not going to want to have two rookies in there because that's pretty much what he brought up before. But I'm just saying, like, even if it wasn't Pierce, who would you think he would have went with?
I think he would have made a full court press for Jim Harbaugh. I think he would have just like basically wrote out, hey, gave him a blank piece of paper, told him to write down his demands, and he would have probably met every single one of those demands. That's just what it would have been, man. He'd have just be like, all right, man, whatever you want, I'm letting you do your thing. Like,
man, he would have like, hey, man, I want I want an In-N-Out built around the corner.
Right. Bro, he would have did all that, bro. He would have gave this man a lifetime supply of khaki pants, bro. It's like,
bro,
so
he was like, I want my statue to be built like right there on the left hand, right next to Al Davis.
Bro.
He said, hey, next to Al? Next to Al. Like he would have done it. He would have done it. He would have done it for sure. Or he would have brought back somehow, some way. He would have brought back, his guy, his buddy, and John Gruden.
Man. Yeah, that would have been a bad look, man.
A lot of people in the NFL believe like, hey, that was like it's a real possibility that like, he would have figured out a way to bring him back.
Oh my
man,
goodness.
I'm just saying, and I'm only bringing that up is because we need someone in there, man. We got to have someone in there to be the buffer between the GM and the head coach. Like Mark is too close. Yeah. He's way too close, and he's already admitted that he's not a guy that should be making them type of decisions, like, because he's not a football guy. He's not a talent evaluator like his father was, Al Davis. So, we talk about it all the time, but until that's going to be the biggest elephant in the room. Like once we get a legit guy in there that can build it, like, hey man, if we can somehow, some way pay Ozzie Newsome,
yes,
I don't know how much money that we could get. Come on,
he should have thrown Ozzie Newsome a nice little bag, bro, to bring him over here because the Ravens are a very well run organization, man, extremely well run. So if you could have got something like that, that would have been awesome. Alfredo. So Camp Jelly staying as assistant GM. That's what it's looking like, man. That's what it's looking like.
Mm-hmm.
And from what I heard that Ed Dodds wasn't too keen on keeping Champ Kelly around, and that was one of the things that kind of, pushed Mark in a different direction. I don't know how true that is. That's what these Twitter streets are saying. So you know how you never know if you can trust that stuff, but that's what I was hearing. So I know a lot of people wanted Champ Kelly as GM. So the fact that we were able to pair Champ Kelly as assistant GM with an experienced GM that's great at talent evaluation, I think that is a major win for us.
And another guy that knows the roster. So Tom Telesco can lean on a Champ Kelly.
Yes.
As far as the guys that that they should keep, that the guys that they should give extensions to,
except the quarterback.
Yeah, except the quarterback. I don't know about Champ Kelly about that, but hey, Mark did say that technically he's under contract with the Raiders right now, but he kind of said it in a way where like there's a possibility he might not come back.
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm not sure. But if he does stay, it's a win-win for the Raiders for sure, without a doubt. Like you got Tom Telesco, that experience, and a lot of people. I've seen some people talking about how calling him the best talent evaluator in the NFL. I don't know if we want to take it that far, but there's people respect him in the NFL.
No, he's very well respected as a personnel guy. He was involved with those coach teams that were very successful, under Bill Polian, like basically mentored by Bill Polian, one of the best GMs, the league has seen, a Hall of Fame GM at that. So then he went to the Chargers, and they drafted pretty well. His struggles were basically hiring head coaches, and we kind of make that decision for him, man. So hopefully, and one thing I will say is that
Niner gang in the building, man. He says our rivalry ain't the same. F the Chiefs. You know what? Hey, there's some truth to that. And I think part of that has to do with the team leaving the Bay. You know what I mean? When they were in Oakland, and at least the Raiders were winning. If they were winning, now I'm not saying they were winning in Oakland, but if they were winning in Oakland, you got two teams that are both winning, and it would have been a bet better. Right now, I think we can all somewhat agree. I think Severe is like, nah, man, I don't want the Niners to win.
No, bro. I live in LA, bro. It's a whole bunch of.
That's how you know he in LA. He hate the Niners,
bro. I've maybe met like 3 Chiefs fans, bro. Like my entire life, I know tons of Niner fans, man, and I will never hear the end of it.
Strike Gator says Andy Reid is out here sweating honey mustard. Damn, shot is fired. He went for the gusto with that one. Gail Kim says, "Are the Frank Wright rumors true?" I'm not sure, man. There's nothing like official reporting it. Like usually we would hear some interview being set up. Exactly. Even with Tom Telesco, we heard that he was one of the first round of interviews.
Exactly.
When the Raiders started that interview process, and he was there. So when he came back that Monday, it was a surprise, like because we heard that it was down to Dodds and Champ Kelly, but we all knew that he got interviewed. But if Frank Wright got interviewed, I mean secretly, I don't know how they
exactly
because it wasn't reported. So, but we'll see how it gets down, man. Ah, man, hey, man, the name is crazy, bro. What? How do you come through with that name, man?
He's trying to, bro, it's trying to get you striking this mug, bro. He's trying to get you.
Golly. Alpha One says they reported that it's going to be a big name.
Bro. He's trying to hit you with the sniper rifle, bro.
Oh, man. That name was crazy. That was crazy. But he says easy two-peat. He said easy two-peat. He's talking. Okay, it's a Kansas City fan. It's a Chiefs fan. It's a Chiefs fan. Man, he came through. Man, with that crazy name. Hey, but Alpha One says they reported that it's going to be a big name that was once a head coach. Okay. Hey, and it's 2 guys that you can think of.
Who reported that?
I think it was. I think it was. Hey man.
Oh man. Bro, we gotta get to it. But I think you're gonna say
Man, hey, Strike Vader is just he's just coming for everybody, man, on the coaching staff.
What are you doing Rob Ryan dirty for? Wait, Rob Ryan is
He said Ryan uses bacon flavored cologne.
what are you doing Rob Ryan do? What's Rob Ryan? What Rob Ryan do?
Man, I don't know, man. He might have cut him off, man, in traffic, man. It might have been one of them type of situations.
I can see if it was Rex, but man, Rob.
AJ says, I think Cliff Kingsbury fits in with the coaching staff and the locker room culture. Cliff has some swag to him.
Yeah,
we'll see, man. But did you like his offense in when he was with the Arizona Cardinals? Did you really like it? Did you see that? Was he able to develop a run game? Was it more Kyler Murray magic? You know, like he's going to have like a dynamic running back at that. I mean, not running back. I mean, basically, but quarterback at that position. So they're going to be drafting high or targeting somebody that's going to be able to move back there.
I will say he gets. I mean, I don't know what his rankings were in the run game. I will say that when he was there, he had Kenyon Drake. Kenyon Drake produced, and what's the other guy named Edmonds? I think it was Edmonds. I think Edmonds put up some solid numbers too. So it weren't like one of the best running teams in the league, but you know that they got solid production out of their running backs. You know, and their running backs were very involved with catching the ball out of the backfield as well. That's something I think we need to do more.
The tight end position wasn't really involved like that. I mean, I know they signed Zach Ertz that 1 year late, like after the Eagles cut him, but you know, at that point, I don't know if he was a big part of their offense. But you got to think though, look at your personnel. Like, you know, Michael Mayer is going to be a big part of the Raiders' future on offense. Like, obviously you got Devontae Adams, Jacoby Myers, and I don't know, Hunter Renfro's probably not going to come back, but. You know, maybe you got to look into that. Like, I'm sure that, and I don't know, does a Cliff Kingsbury go with an Antonio Pierce?
I think they go well together, man. And another guy they had, what's the guy from? I think he's still there. The guy that came from Pittsburgh. If they check and help me out, the guy I think he had cancer at one point. He took over when Le'Veon Bell was holding out and put up some numbers. Dang, what's my dude's name? But they like he produced pretty well in the run game, man. I think people remember him more so from college. He was at Texas Tech and he was doing like crazy offenses there. And you know, like I think I sent out a clip of Patrick Mahomes talking about, you know, what he's talking about what Cliff Kingsbury did for him as a quarterback, man, and basically said he laid the foundation for the quarterback he is today. So if we get a young guy in here like that. Man, and I think AP and him go well together, bro. I think they're both like real passionate dudes, man. They're both the Cliff Kingsbury's a little bit younger than AP, but I think they're both guys that they both play at the game. Now, of course, you know, Cliff Kingsbury didn't play at the level that AP played at, but you know, he's a former quarterback himself, man. And like the guy said, man, he brings like some swag and some attitude to the coaching position, man. So.
Yeah, we got Coach DC says salute Severe, much love, Brody from the Bay 925. Keep pushing, young blood. Appreciate you coming through, man.
Appreciate it.
My guy Raider Gabe says, man, F both of them, but definitely can't have the Chiefs win in that stadium. Yeah, facts. Definitely. The fact is KC is more a hated rivalry by far, but the Battle of Bay rivalry is definitely a serious. It is, man. That's why it's like, man, like it's tough. I'm just looking at it from this point. Is like the Chiefs are never going to let this go, and I'm sure Niner fans are always going to bring this up. But we only play them every 4 years, and I know we hate both teams. It's just the fact that come on, man. The Chiefs. If the Chiefs win the Super Bowl, they're not going to let this go. They're going to be like, we own Las Vegas. It should be the Las Vegas Chiefs. That's their second. They can take this all the way there. If in my opinion, I feel like the Chiefs would take it way too far.
Because we have a chance to play. That's the thing, though. So we say we play them twice a year. They can bring it up, but at that point, we have an opportunity to win the game and shut them up. You know, they can talk all that talk, but when it's game time, we can win. we don't have that same opportunity with the Niners, man. Like we wouldn't, I don't even know when the next time we'll get to play the Niners. So until then, they'll just be chirping. All you're gonna hear is chirping from the Niners fans, bro. And I don't know. And I think that stadium's gonna be more Niner fans in there than Chiefs fans.
Mm-hmm. Good grief says this Super Bowl matchup is disgusting, and he left the building. He left the building after that, man.
Filthy.
Real Talk Raider Nation, man, says there needs to be accountability. The GM needs to have the authority to put people in their place if needed, not the other way around.
Facts.
Yeah, man, there has to be a hierarchy. It has to be like I think the coach needs to coach. The GM needs to be obviously be a GM, and just have that degree of separation. I don't want to see Mark Davis trying to be a second coming of Al Davis when that's not him.
Yeah.
So, at the end of the day, like we'll see how it works out. Hopefully he brings in another guy in the building, not named Tom Brady. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to see that, but hopefully someone experienced that's had success building football teams. Man, we got the chat is going crazy, man. We appreciate everybody coming through. Make sure to hit that like button. You know what I mean? If you haven't already, man. We're going live on both channels. As you can see, PharoahNFL, myself, and the Severe Raider, man. Go over to his channel and subscribe. This guy, man, he's always dropping facts. Sometimes I don't agree. Sometimes I do agree, but he keeps it real. Let's see, man. The chat is going crazy. Man. Let's see.
I can't even. I'm way up at the top. I just now got to the Rob Ryan comment.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Man, hey, Chris Francis says tired of watching the same old team. Should have been Ravens, Lions. Yeah, that's true because the Niners and Chiefs played a few years ago.
Yeah. Chiefs won in too.
And Chiefs won in. Hey, if you want to keep it real, best quarterback, Mahomes. Best coach, Andy Reid,
bro. Yeah.
But you know why I have a feeling that the Niners might win this game is that they've been bucking trends. Like I don't know if it was before last game, there was a stat saying that the 49ers never won a game, I don't know, this season, or their record when losing in the fourth quarter has been pretty bad. They were able to win that game. I think it was against the Packers, and then against the Lions, being down 14-0 under Kyle Shanahan coach football team. They haven't won a lot of games like that. And I don't want to say a lot of games, but I think it was something pretty bad, bro. It was like 1-something or 0-something, and they end up winning the game. And we all seen how that literally they're up 21-7. And we all seen how that game ended. So what I'm saying is that like you go into a Super Bowl matchup where you lost against them, like literally the same head coach. Give or take, some players have been replaced since then. I mean, it's been a while, but man, I think the Niners might be able to get one against the Chiefs because I feel like, their offense is not as strong as it used to be. I just don't want to see the Chiefs, man. I don't even care about the 49ers, man. I'm over here talking about them, but man, it's tough.
Patrick Mahomes, man. That's I think logic would say the Niners have all the advantages, but it's Patrick Mahomes, man. Patrick Mahomes he's as much as I hate to do because he plays for the Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes he's on a different level, man, than just about every other quarterback in the league right now. And he can he basically the Ravens had almost basically all those same advantages, man. The Ravens had a better roster top to bottom than the Chiefs, man, and the Chiefs was basically able to have their way with them, man. So I don't know, man.
Yeah. Rosetown Native says, if y'all had 3 options to get as our franchise QB this offseason, who would y'all take?
We talking about
name 3 options?
Draft, or if it's the draft, I mean,
it would have to be the draft.
If it's the draft, my top 3 guys. Oh, I mean,
no, because he's saying franchise. I would say quarterback options, because I think that quarterback room needs to be improved, and some of that going to have to be getting a veteran in there. A lot of people are connecting the dots for Russell Wilson.
I think that makes
That's
sense,
a possibility.
Man.
And you're also weakening a division rival, because I think that if they sign Russell Wilson to a contract, Denver would be on the hook for the rest of his deal, or at least the deal that they guaranteed. So that might be an option. But that wouldn't stop the Raiders, in my opinion. That shouldn't stop them from getting their young QB.
At all.
You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, and we've talked about this, and I've seen rumors saying that, there's like NFL people who are kind of like connecting the dots, because I think Russell Wilson, before he got traded from Seattle, one of the teams that he wanted to get traded to was the Raiders.
Yes, it was. It was on the list. I mean, we were talking about it back then. I mean, that was some of the speculation back then. Like, should we do it? At that time, that's when we still had our previous quarterback. So I think that makes a lot of sense, man. I mean, I've already named it. My top 2 quarterbacks in the draft are Jane Daniels and Michael Penix. Those are 2 guys that I would roll with at the top of the draft. I'm staying away from Caleb Williams. I'm staying away from Bo Nix too. Bo Nix. Bo Nix could. I mean, I don't want to do him like this. But Bo Nix could be Jake Locker, and I don't know if people remember Jake Locker, but Jake Locker was a guy that he wasn't good in the NFL.
He didn't pan out, and I think he came out of Washington, right?
I want to say he came out of Washington. He was a Pac-10 school, but he ended up retiring early too.
Yeah, he played. I think he played with the Huskies, and I think he was he drafted by Tennessee.
Tennessee.
Yeah, Tennessee ended up drafting him. Yeah, he was a bust. Well, he was he taken in the first round?
Taking the first round, I want to say, I want to say high too, like 7 or something like that. He was taking pretty high. Yeah, he's taking pretty high.
He's a bust. Because I think if you're taking in the first round, you don't work. It just that's where the bust title kind of makes sense. But
yeah, man.
But yeah, man. Hey, we appreciate everybody coming through. Man, great show. We're able to get into it, talk about what happened since the last time we went live, man. Hey, Tom Telesco press conference. Hey, they said all the right things. Hopefully, it'll equal the Raider wins in the future.
Man.
Also, we talked about obviously, man, the worst Super Bowl matchup for the Raider Nation, man. The 49ers and the Chiefs. We don't want to see it. It is what it is. Everybody has mixed feelings. Severe's all like, man, I'd rather have the Chiefs win instead of the Niners, because you hate the Niners, and I hate the Niners as well. But I'm like, hey, look, the Chiefs, we play them twice a year. This is a team that we have to get through or beat to get to the championship. And if they come to Las Vegas, it would have been worse if it was Oakland too. But if they came to Las Vegas and win a Super Bowl like that, they will not let that go, man. They will not let that go. But it is what it is, man. But any last thoughts, man? Because right now we're just waiting for the OC hire to happen, and that's probably going to happen at some point. People are reporting. We said earlier that Ian Rappaport was able to say that the Raiders are most likely going to be hiring someone in the beginning of the week. This is from this last weekend. So hopefully they're able to get a guy in by tomorrow, Wednesday. We'll find out who the OC is.
Yeah.
This is a hire that the Raiders cannot get wrong. They cannot do some weird, this guy came out of left field and got the job. You know what I mean? I don't want to hear that, bro. I'm tired of hearing stuff like that. Just don't mess it up, man. I think it's pretty simple. There's some good options left if they get it right. But we'll see how it shakes out. What are your predictions? You got any predictions?
Man,
OCR?
I've been calling it for a while, man. I think Cliff Kingsbury is the obvious choice. With that being said, it'll probably be like Alex Van Pelt, but I think Cliff Kingsbury he's the best of everything, man. He has the experience you want, play caller, quarterback coach, all that stuff. And one of the things people like to talk about with Jim Harbaugh is Jim Harbaugh, he's coming from college right now, so he has an advantage because he's been around all these guys. Head coaches really normally don't do a lot of recruiting. The recruiting stuff usually falls to the coordinators and the position coaches. And the fact that Cliff Kingsbury was a quarterbacks coach with the Trojans, he probably did a lot more on the recruiting trail than Jim Harbaugh ever thought of doing. Jim Harbaugh was the closer. He's not a guy that's doing the day-to-day work. So Cliff Kingsbury will have a lot more experience in terms of that, in terms of knowledge of the players that are coming out of this draft. So I just think that he offers a lot, man, and I think that is the best way to go.
I kind of like the Kubiak pick, but I'm not sure if they're going to have enough time because it sounds like the Raiders are ready to make their decision soon rather than later, and I think they have to wait a little bit to get Kubiak in the building to interview. That being said, Alex Van Pelt seems like an interesting candidate from the OC for the Browns. Was able to and he has some experience as a play caller. He's kind of like for me he's like that dark horse wild card one for me. I like him. Obviously, Kubiak would be a nice, young, fresh, offensive-minded coach. Cliff Kingsbury, there's a little bit of a risk factor with him. I don't know, man. Like something about him. Like it's just I'm not 100% sold on him. I know he's had success with some of these guys. He's been attached to the Johnny Manziels and the Mahomes and he was able to coach Kyle Murray, but it obviously didn't. His first opportunity to coach in the NFL, it didn't work out. Now he hasn't really had a lot of head coaching experience. So he went from being the head coach in college, I believe, right? Was he the OC or the head coach at Texas Tech?
He was an OC and then he was head coach in college. He was head coach at Texas Tech though. Before taking, he had a losing record as a head coach in college.
Yeah, for like 2 years, and then he becomes the head coach for, for the Cardinals, right? So, but he's not coming in to do that. He's gonna be an OC. So,
exactly.
Whoever it's gonna be, they're gonna sell him on the plan, and the plan is to develop the QB and to coach this offense, and it's gonna be interesting where Antonio Pierce goes because I'm thinking in my head with Antonio Pierce, he's a defensive coach. It's going to be a guy that he believes that's going to develop the run game, like build that, that mentality, that physical mentality in the run game, and obviously, be able to develop a QB. That's the guy in my head. I feel like he's going to go after. And then Alex Van Pelt, he did a pretty solid job with a pretty much. Man, how many QBs played for the Browns this year? Man, I felt like
there's a lot. There's a lot, bro.
And they were able, able to make it work. They were able to make it work. But he wasn't the play caller. I know Stefanski was the play caller, but he has play calling experience too as well. So, but we'll see how it shakes out. I think they're gonna announce it by Tuesday or Wednesday this week. We'll find out. We'll find out who that OC is, and we'll be here to talk about it. And hey, man, the Senior Bowl too. I don't want to forget about that. Senior Bowl's coming up. East-West Shrine game. There's gonna be some. Hey, man, for a lot of Raider fans, this is our favorite time of the year, man, where we get hyped up about certain guys is gonna be possibly drafted by the Raiders.
We're in that triangle right now, man. We starting to believe.
We start to believe. Nah. I'm gonna keep it positive right now. I'm gonna keep it positive, man. Hey. It's a good time, and I think we got some coaches that are going to be coaching in the game, so which is big because now they're going to be having up close look at some of the prospects too. So, and a guy like Telesco, he values this time of year too as well.
Right.
So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about all that good stuff, man. We appreciate everybody coming through. Make sure to hit that like button, man. It's about that time, man. Man, till next time. Appreciate y'all coming through. Peace.
Great Pharaoh, the gift of Troy is a fabulous fabric from the land of the 5 rivers.
Thoughts for the win coming into
believed that the greatness of the Raiders would be in its future.
Just win, baby. Hello? You play to win the game. You don't play to just play it.